You know what's actually stopping your English? It's not grammar. It's not vocabulary. And honestly, it's probably not pronunciation either. The real reason your English feels slow, awkward, or stressful is because your brain is still translating everything. You hear English, then your brain changes it into Urdu, then back into English again. And by the time you speak, the conversation is already over. And trust me, millions of English learners struggle with this every single day. But honey, if you like to learn more English like natives, then don't forget to push the bell icon button, like, share and comment me if you want to make a video on any other topic you do like, or if you like or disagree with something in the video. So let's get back to the topic. Today, I'm going to show you how people actually start thinking in English naturally. Not like a textbook, not like school English, but like real people. And once you understand this, your speaking confidence changes completely. So relax, put your headphones on, and let's talk about it. Question 1. Why translating destroys fluency? Okay, imagine this. Someone suddenly asks you, "What did you do yesterday?" Now most learners do this. First, they think in Urdu. Then they translate. Then they try fixing grammar. Then they panic about pronunciation. And finally, they answer very slowly. That process destroys fluency. Because real conversations move fast. Native speakers are not translating. They are reacting. And that's the biggest difference. Fluent English is not built word by word. It's built thought by thought. And honestly, this is why some people know thousands of English words, but still cannot speak confidently. Because knowledge and fluency are completely different skills. You can memorize grammar for 10 years, and still freeze during a simple conversation. And maybe this has happened to you too. Maybe you know the answer in your mind, but when it's time to speak, your brain suddenly goes blank. That feeling is frustrating, but it happens for a reason. Your brain was trained to study English, not live in English. And schools accidentally create this problem. Because most schools teach translation first. Real fluency comes from direct understanding. For example, when a native speaker hears the word apple, they instantly imagine the fruit. But many learners hear apple, then mentally say seb. That tiny delay matters. Now imagine doing that for every single sentence. Of course, speaking becomes slow. Of course, confidence disappears. And over time, people start believing, "I'm bad at English." When actually, their learning method was bad, not them. Question 2. How children learn language? Now here's something interesting. Children don't learn language through translation. Think about it. A child hears, "Come here," again, and again, and again. Eventually, their brain connects meaning directly. No translation needed. That's why children become naturally fluent. Not because they study grammar books, but because their brain builds direct connections. And honestly, this is exactly what you need too. You need exposure, repetition, and emotional connection. Because emotions help memory. That's why you remember movie scenes, funny memes, embarrassing moments, more than grammar rules. Your brain remembers experiences, not textbook pages. And this is why watching natural English content helps so much. Especially content you actually enjoy. For example, podcasts, YouTube videos, stories, funny interviews. These train your brain differently. They teach rhythm, reaction, emotion, tone, and natural speaking patterns. That's the real secret. Question 3. Stop trying to sound perfect. This part is important. A lot of learners are secretly afraid of making mistakes. So before speaking, they try making the perfect sentence. And that destroys confidence instantly. Because conversations are not exams. Real people make mistakes constantly. Even native speakers. Sometimes people forget words. Sometimes grammar breaks. Sometimes pronunciation sounds weird. And nobody cares. Communication matters more than perfection. Let me say that again. Communication matters more than perfection. Because confidence is not speaking perfectly. Confidence is speaking comfortably. And honestly, some learners sound nervous even with correct grammar, while others sound confident with broken English. Why? Energy, relaxation, and speaking naturally. That's why overthinking is dangerous. The more you overthink, the slower your English becomes. And the slower it becomes, the more nervous you feel. It becomes a cycle. So instead of chasing perfection, start chasing flow. Flow changes everything. Question 4. How to start thinking in English? Okay, now let's talk about practical solutions. How do you actually think in English? Step 1. Stop translating tiny easy words. For example, don't translate water, phone, door, chair, hungry, sleepy. Train your brain to understand them instantly. Step 2. Narrate your life in English. This works insanely well. For example, I'm opening the door. I'm drinking tea. I'm checking my phone. Simple, easy, powerful. This builds automatic thinking. Step 3. Use ready-made English chunks. Native speakers don't build every sentence from zero. They use patterns like, to be honest, actually, you know what, at the end of the day. These phrases create flow naturally. And honestly, this is one of the fastest fluency hacks ever. Because your brain stops panicking. You already know what comes next. Step 4. Listen more than you study. Most learners study too much and listen too little. But language is sound first, not grammar first. That's why podcasts help so much. Even if you don't understand everything, your brain is still adapting to rhythm and structure. Question 5. The confidence shift. Now let me tell you something powerful. The day you stop being embarrassed, your English improves faster. Seriously. Because embarrassment blocks fluency, fear blocks memory, stress blocks speaking, and confidence comes from repetition, not magic. Every fluent speaker once sounded bad. Every confident speaker once felt nervous. Nobody starts fluent. Nobody. People improve through messy practice, awkward conversations, tiny improvements, daily exposure. That's the real process. And honestly, social media sometimes creates unrealistic expectations. People watch perfectly edited English videos and think, I can never sound like that. But those creators also practiced for years. So stop comparing your beginning to someone else's middle. Focus on progress, not perfection. Question 6. Why listening changes your brain. Now let's talk about something most learners ignore completely. Listening. A lot of people say, I understand grammar, but I still can't speak. And honestly, that usually means one thing. Your brain has not heard enough natural English yet. Because language is pattern recognition. The more your brain hears natural English, the faster it predicts sentences automatically. That's exactly how fluency develops. Not by memorizing every grammar rule, but by hearing patterns again, and again, and again. Think about your native language. You don't calculate grammar while speaking. You just know what sounds natural. That instinct comes from exposure. And English works the same way. This is why binge-watching English content actually helps. Especially when you enjoy it. Podcasts, YouTube, movies, funny interviews, street conversations, all of these train your brain naturally. And no, you do not need to understand 100%. That's another huge mistake learners make. They panic when they miss a few words. But native speakers also miss words sometimes. The goal is overall understanding, not perfection. And slowly, your brain starts adapting. At first, English sounds fast. Then, it sounds clearer. Then eventually, you stop translating completely. And trust me, that moment feels amazing. Because suddenly, English stops feeling like study. It starts feeling natural. Question 7. The biggest mistakes English learners make. Okay, now let's talk about the mistakes that secretly slow people down for years. Mistake number 1. Trying to sound too advanced. A lot of learners think big vocabulary equals fluent English. But honestly, simple English sounds more natural most of the time. Native speakers use simple words constantly. Fluency is not difficult words. Fluency is smooth communication. Mistake number 2. Being afraid to repeat yourself. Repetition is powerful. That's literally how the brain learns language. So never feel embarrassed repeating phrases. Mistake number 3. Only studying, without speaking. You cannot learn swimming by reading about swimming. And you cannot become fluent by only watching grammar videos. Your mouth needs practice too. Even talking to yourself helps. Seriously. And mistake number 4. Comparing yourself to fluent creators online. Remember, you are watching their highlight reel, not their beginner stage. Nobody uploads their awkward phase. But everyone has one. Every fluent speaker once sounded nervous. Every confident speaker once made embarrassing mistakes. That's normal. Progress looks messy before it looks impressive. Question 8. How to sound more natural immediately. Now let me give you some practical things that instantly make your English sound more natural. Number 1. Use contractions. Instead of I am, Say, I'm, instead of, do not. Say, don't. Native speech is connected and relaxed. Number 2. Learn emotional phrases. For example, no way. That's crazy. Honestly, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. These phrases make your English feel alive. Number 3. Stop speaking like a robot. English has rhythm, emotion, energy, and honestly, confidence matters more than accent most of the time. People connect with energy, not perfection. Number 4. Pause naturally. A lot of learners rush because they panic. But pauses actually make you sound more confident. Even native speakers pause while thinking. So relax, take your time, and focus on expressing ideas, not impressing people. That mindset changes everything. Question 9. How your English journey will feel slow before it feels fast. This part is really important. Sometimes it feels like your English is not improving. And honestly, that feeling can become very discouraging. But language learning is strange. Growth happens quietly. Your brain is learning patterns in the background, even when you don't notice it. And one day, suddenly, you understand a full video. Or you answer quickly without translating. Or you think in English accidentally. And you realize, wait, I'm actually improving. That's why consistency matters more than motivation. Motivation comes and goes, but habits create fluency. Even 15 minutes daily matters. Small progress becomes massive over time. And remember this, you do not need perfect English to change your life. You just need confident communication. That alone can open opportunities, create friendships, improve confidence, and completely change your future. So never underestimate this skill. Because English today is more than a language. It's access to knowledge, people, opportunities, and confidence. And the fact that you're still learning, still trying, still improving, already puts you ahead of many people who gave up. So keep going. Seriously, your future self will thank you for it. And with that, we've reached the end of today's podcast. I hope this video helped you relax a little about your English journey. Because remember, fluency is not about becoming perfect overnight. It's about building comfort, step by step, day by day. So stop overthinking every tiny mistake. Start using English naturally. Enjoy the process, and trust your progress. And if you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe to Learn English with Gen Z Siri, because here, we learn real English for real life. Not boring textbook English. And in the next episode, we're talking about the English habits that secretly make people sound more confident and attractive while speaking. And honestly, that might become one of the most useful videos on this channel. So stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.